Getting revenue from a SaaS in 2025 is all about distribution. The more traffic you have, the bigger number you see in your Stripe account. And getting traffic is harder than ever. At Troic AI, we heavily rely on SEO and have recently started seeing the classic problem of AI overviews, many impressions and extremely low click-through rate. In this episode, we'll tackle the on-site SEO of Troic AI, create an AI generation system for smashing our competitors, purchase our very first dedicated server and move our cron backend to it. Also, we'll offer a Black Friday discount and see how much money it generates for us. This is my new channel and I'm still moving towards a goal of 100 subscribers. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe and leave a comment. It will help YouTube algorithms to promote this video. Recently, I came across a financial website, stockanalysis.com, which is our direct competitor, and it receives a lot of traffic from Google. So I jumped into the investigation journey to figure out how they were able to achieve this ranking. For that, I purchased a demo subscription for SEMrush. By the way, it's an excellent solution if you don't need access to SEO instruments all the time. Just go to eBay or Digicel and you'll find plenty of offers for $5, which is 10 times cheaper than the regular price. I like Ahrefs more than SEMrush though, especially after the recent news that the latter was acquired by Adobe. But for a one-time task, it's more than enough. Moving back to our competitor, we take a URL and start with analysis of how many pages are ranked and for which keywords. And this is what's interesting. Usually it's super difficult to rank for financial keywords if you are not a well-established company like Yahoo Finance or Bloomberg. And these guys aren't an exception. They utilize a very fascinating tactic. While they know that ranking is extremely difficult, they outcompete the incumbents by taking over many snippet blocks. Like, people also ask block of questions that investors typically type in when they are interested in a stock or a company, and Google loves them. Domain ranking on the first page is also not an option for us, as we just don't have that amount of money to buy backlinks. Therefore, we need to create even better informational blocks to outcompete them in terms of utility and friendliness. First, we'll start with the company description, which, is, you'll be amazed, is almost never unique among all our competitors. To achieve this effectively, we need many requests to LLM. But not just it. ChatGPT or Gemini can hallucinate a lot, especially when there are companies with the same name doing different things. To solve this, we need to augment the prompt with web search data to make a unique and, more importantly, detailed description. And this is where we got our first problem. The price of web search results is high. And when I say it's expensive, it's very expensive. For example, Gemini charges $14 per 1,000 requests. OpenRouter takes 4 and Perplexity charges $5 per 1,000 requests. While reviewing all those numbers and calculating that I would spend at least $300 to generate 60,000 descriptions, I remembered the article about how DeepSeek used ChatGPT answers to train their model. And if DeepSeek can use it, why shouldn't we? All we need to do is to buy a premium account and run the prompt 60,000 times. Of course, we don't do it manually, instead we'll automate the process. The first task of buying a premium is easy, especially when there are numerous places where you can get a Perplexity coupon code. Remember where we got our SEMrush trial? The next step is the automation script. The first thing I did was go to GitHub and search for unofficial Perplexity API, and what a surprise, there is an already very popular repository, with the only problem being that it's written in Python. As you may know from a previous episode, I have a hard relationship with Python. If you haven't watched it, you absolutely should after this video. This so-called unofficial Perplexity wrapper makes a new account using the temporary email and sends the request to the API using reverse engineering of the client. But first, we don't need all this stuff, since we have a premium account. And second, I really don't like Python. You can call me an inexperienced developer, but I had 3 sleepless nights trying to make the async Python API work correctly, so no more Python in my life. To convert this script to a JavaScript version, we need to open a repository in Copilot and ask it to find the place where it makes a request. It was quite simple to find, right in the client.py file. However, at this point we've got a bigger problem, which is the infrastructure for our future AI content machine. We don't have a proper server that can handle a large number of requests. Therefore, I offloaded script creation to Nick, a member of our team, the only member besides me actually, and moved to looking for a dedicated server. The main requirements for us are a large number of CPU threads and an enormous amount of RAM, as we need to host trigger.dev, the platform for building long-running tasks and AI generations, which is exactly what we need. It can be self-hosted, and basically it creates a Docker container for your script, then deploys and runs it on a server via Trigger or cron. Plus, it provides a good visual dashboard with tests, different environments, and logs. When I need to rent a server, I always go to Hetzner. You can't find a cheaper and more reliable place where your budget is tight. I can't say ours is tight, but every dollar saved in costs is a dollar you can put in your pocket. So we can forget about AWS or even DigitalOcean and go straight to a server auction page. Yes, the auction page, because this is where we get the best value among all offers. Basically, you have three options with Hetzner. First, buying a cloud VPS, which is expensive. Then, getting a custom server, where you pay a setup fee. And the last one is an auction, where the hardware is a bit older, but gives you the best truly dedicated server in terms of money perspectives. Occasionally, you can find a good server that was abandoned by a previous customer, and instead of disassembling it, Hetzner puts it up for auction. Therefore, an auction server doesn't always mean a bad one. And after a bit of searching and numerous unsuccessful attempts to buy what I wanted, I finally got this beast. May I introduce you to the AMD EPYC 7502P, featuring 32 cores, 64 threads, 128 GB of RAM and 3 TB of NVMe storage, for a mere €100 or $117 per month. I genuinely believe there is no better deal you can find. If you know a better place to buy a server, please let me know in the comments. The only downside of this server is its location, which is in Germany. If you choose a server for your project that is supposed to get traffic, it's better to place it closer to your customers, which is most of the time in the United States. For us, it's a completely backend sort of operation, hence I'm totally fine with a bit higher latency. After buying this server, we need to install Ubuntu, of course, and restart it by sending a command to push the power button. In my opinion, this is peak bare metal vibe. Now it's time to go to trigger.dev self-hosting guide and start to spend an enormous amount of time figuring out how to do it. Because in a classic free but suffer or overpay but handy manner, they created the worst guide of how to run your instance. But we are not rookies, and after just 4 hours I managed to run a self-hosted version with a private Docker registry managed by Traffic. Now we are ready to run the world, or at least a small content machine. You may say, Vlad, isn't it a bit overkill to buy such a powerful dedicated server for just a relatively small number of requests to the Perplexity API? And I will tell you yes, but only for now. Yes, it's overkill, but we are preparing for plenty of tasks running in parallel, since, as you remember, we not only need AI-generated descriptions, but also need to outcompete those guys who generate many snippets for Google. And since we have 60,000 companies, and for every company we require at least 10 snippets, such as news summary or an explanation of why the stock is up today, all this requires 600,000 daily requests. We need to treat this as an investment rather than making an overkill system for zero use. After a couple of days, Nick finished the task of description generation, and I remind you, it's not just AI slop, it's a high-quality research slop about a company using a web engine that extracts key facts that can only be seen by digging through pages of information. The script is pretty simple. We run a single prompt with the Grok4 model, which uses the company name, stock symbol, and the website to prevent name collisions for similar companies. I should say the performance of the script was tremendous. We managed to achieve 1,000 requests per hour and generate 60,000 descriptions in just 2.5 days. Yes, it's still far from the needed 600,000 requests a day, but it's our first version, which will become only better with time. Speaking of the ethical aspect, we don't abuse the system. We automate the manual mundane tasks that we are allowed to make in any case. So I think being efficient isn't being bad. What is really bad is that every time SEO is enhanced, you need to wait for quite some time before you can see the results. But hopefully we'll see some ranking increase soon, and I'll be able to share the results with you in the next episode. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get updates as fast as they are published. And while we are waiting for our descriptions to rank, we need to catch the opportunity to make some money during Black Friday. You know, this year is special. I see almost every startup offering discounts compared to previous years. The economy is so tight and companies need money so much that Black Friday Friday has literally become an official excuse to slash prices in hopes of getting some money. Because if you only offer big discounts, your business is in trouble. If everyone makes them, it feels like a festivity. And we decided to do this for the first time ever as well. And no, not because we are starving, we have a goal of 100k per month, remember? But we decided to craft the offer a bit differently. We made a 40% discount on annual plans only to receive money in advance, which we can then invest in other opportunities. Because if we offered a discount on monthly plans as well, we would move the incentives to the wrong place and earn less money overall when churn rate is taken into account. The only problem is it was already November 27 when we decided to make it. Yes, we could start it a bit in advance, but better is never than in the wrong way, right? No. And I gave Nick the task of urgently creating a simple banner at the top of our page that says we offer a 30% reduction and include a little promotional button. We also utilized a small hack. When a person clicked on the button, we pre-inserted the coupon code into the cart. However, it had a negative effect. People no longer felt like they earned the discount. You know that rewarding feeling when you find a promo code or a discount that is not publicly available and you feel like you cheated a bit or took advantage of the offer that you would buy anyway. Therefore, by pre-inserting the code, we removed that feeling from them. After changing it back, the conversion numbers improved significantly. And talking about numbers, we managed to make $2,400 during the first day of sales on November 28th, $1,500 on November 29th, and $1,700 on the next day. The total for 3 days of Black Friday was $5,782. Is it a lot or not for you? You can share your numbers from that period in the comments below. I expected emails from people who had recently bought the subscription and realized now there is a 40% discount, but among all those people who bought or wanted to buy, we received only one negative email from someone who didn't see the pricing page clearly enough and thought he'd need to pay double the amount now. In reality, it's a paddle feature that shows the payment schedule for this and next payment, which is scheduled for the next year. I suppose we have one fan less now. In general, I feel satisfied that we made this discount, but ultimately I think that making lots of price reductions harms business. If a discount is the only way to sell a product, then it's a bad business. These are the results we ended up with in November. Yes, we didn't manage to run all 600,000 API requests per day, but in the next episode I'm pretty sure we'll show the fully working system and the results from the SEO, of course. We also managed to secure a significant amount of money from Black Friday, which is a big plus towards our goal of $100,000 per month. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It was Vlad. Bye.